Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to see the second chapter, that is called as evaluation of management thoughts. Okay, we have completed our first chapter, that is called as introduction of management and organizational behavior. Okay, now we are going to see the second one, that is called as evaluation of management thoughts. I will just scroll down. Yeah. See, management, as we have discussed in the previous lecture also, what do you mean by management? Okay, management means what? Management means getting things done to others. Okay, that is the meaning of management. Okay, now management includes the administrative activities also and superior activities also. Okay, administrative people also engage in management. Okay, their main focus is to increase the expenditure, is to increase the level of planning, policy making, and coordination of efforts, controlling and operation, and maintaining the discipline for the efficient and smooth functioning of the business environment. Okay, over here, this the management and administrator means the same. First of all, okay, according with our view, administrator is fundamentally the direction of affairs. Okay, it is a purpose of action and to increase degree and to inform rational and deliberate action. It is overhanging concern with the choice of ends, way and means for the attainment of desired results. Okay, see, first of all, administration comes first and then management follows. Okay, according to the view, the terms are used to control the specific functions of planning, guiding, controlling, and execution of works connected with the business environment. Okay, administration is that phase of business enterprises which concern itself with overall determination of major policies and objectives. Okay, administration predetermine the specific goals and lay down the broad areas within which the goals are to be achieved. Administrator determining function management of the execution function, which concern itself with carrying out the administrative policies laid down by the administration. These views bring out the difference between the terms of administration and management in the following words. Administration is a determination of policy and coordination. Proper management is the execution of policy. Administration is a force which laid down with the objectives of which the organization and the management are to be stripped and broad policies under which they are to be operated. Okay, so management is a force which leads, guide, and directs the organization in the accomplishment of the predetermined objectives. Okay, always remember that administration plays an important role. Okay, administration is an important factor for the growth and development of any organization. Okay, after administration, management follows. Now we are going to discuss over here the evaluation of management. Okay, now see, there are three factors. First one is called as scientific factor, second one is called as administrative factors, and third one is called as bureaucratic factors. Okay, scientific factors, scientific approach which is being developed by the father of scientific management, which is called as a father of scientific management, Frederick W. Taylor. Okay, he is the father of scientific management, and you know they have given Taylor first tried to break tasks into elementary movement like walking speed, carrying position, bending, etc. Okay, over here we are going to give a proper focus on the principle of scientific management. Okay, Taylor's developed charts for use in planning and controlling. Okay, the task should be designed scientifically and not by the old thumb measure. Selection, training, and development of workers should be based on the scientific method. There should be proper match between job and worker skill. There must be a division of labor and increasing specialization. Okay, there should be an equal division of responsibility between management and workers and choose cooperation between them. Okay, over here they have given 6 principles. Okay, Taylor has given 6 principles that we have to discuss. Now the first principle, they have given science not a rule of thumb. Okay, people should develop logical and scientific methods to do your job. Okay, this is the first principle which is given by the Frederick Taylor. Okay, He told that science not a rule of thumb. Okay, over here, Taylor has emphasis on emphasis that each job performed in the organization should be based on the scientific inquiry and not on institution experience or hit and miss method. Okay, rule of thumb does not involve thinking before doing. Okay, scientific method require cause and action as well as to exact measures of efforts and output to be kept in a view for any work to be performed. Okay, thus a day's fair work, standard of work and output, etc., can be preciously measured and managed, which forms a core of scientific management. Okay, so this technique is also always helpful for improving the organizational performance. Okay, Taylor has emphasis that each job performed in the organization should be based on scientific inquiry, not intuition, experience, or hit or miss methods. Okay, so this is the science, not rule of thumb. And second one, which we are going to discuss, is called as a harmony, not discordant. People should avoid conflict at workplace. Okay, they are given more posts on this factor. Okay, according to Taylor's, in group action, those who work together should carry out their tasks in harmony. I mean to say, the groupism, there should be a groupism, I mean to say, they should work in a group, and each and everyone should given a proper task, due to which they can do their work in an effective manner. Okay, only then they can only when can be possible for the growth to contribute more than the sum of individual contribution. Okay, Taylor's advocate the complete mental revolution on the part of both managers and workers. Managers should adopt the enlightenment attitude and share the gains of productivity with workers. Workers on the other part. Okay, workers on the other part should work with discipline and loyalty. Okay, so over here, they have given more focus on the avoidance of workplace. Okay, their main aim is to avoid the work. Okay, avoid the conflict which is occurring. Okay, now we are going to see the next point, that is called as cooperation, not individualism. Okay, teamwork should be given importance. In the third point, we are going to discuss about the teamwork. Okay, their main motto, scientific management requires that work should be carried out by individual in cooperation with each other based on the mutual confidence and the sense of goodwill. Okay, managers and workers can develop understanding and thus secure mutual cooperation. Taylor has suggested that while setting standards, employees who are supposed to perform in individual in that process. Okay, that will enhance their involvement and commitment in such standards. That is called as cooperation. Okay, third point is cooperation or individualism. Teamwork should be given importance. Okay, then the fourth point, that is called as maximum output. Maximum output in place to restrict output. Optimum utilization of organizational resources. Okay, over here, continuous increase in production and productivity is another basic principle of scientific management. It suggests that no ground in production can be curtailed or productivity allowed to decrease. Conflict between management and labor arise mainly on division of surplus. Okay, over here, Taylor suggested that the best way to resolve the problem is to increase the size of surplus so that each side have a larger share. Okay, on the other hand, Taylor believed that management and laborers had a common interest in increasing productivity. Okay, both management and laborers are going to get a benefit if they are having a huge amount of output. Okay, now how we can say that output has been increased? By making a proper management of activity, by having active participation in the role of growth and development by the laborers as well as managers. So the productivity is also going to be increased due to increase in the productivity. We are going to get a benefit of By increasing the productivity, we are going to get a benefit having a large share. Okay. Now
आठ नंतर संक्रांती गावाला गेली कोण वरती पावलं नाही नाही ना थांब
okay. Then we are going to discuss the next point, that is called a separation of planning and operational work. Okay. Although functional foremanship, Taylor tried to establish that planning functions should be separated from operating ones. Okay. To achieve these objectives, he suggested that foreman in planning department include route clerk, instruction card clerk, time and cost clerk, and shop disciplinarian. Of these, and those in the operation department includes gang boss, speed boss, repair boss, and instructor and inspector. He traced that managers should concentrate on planning the job of the workers and should not involve themselves in the performance of the job. Okay, because each and everyone is having their own work and they are having their own responsibilities. So what you have to do, you have to, the principle requires that all workers should be developed to the fullest extent in their own interest, as also for the company's prosperity. Okay, for this purpose there has to be a scientific selection of workers. There should be provision of workers training to keep them fit for adopting new methods which may be different from the traditional methods of clerk. Okay, so all these steps are included in the separation of planning and operational work. Okay, so I just want to give one focus in this point, that while having this work, okay, over here the rules and regulation and the duties which is assigned to each and every member, they have to perform their own duties. Okay, the other person should not interfere in the other works. So due to which this can cause a huge problem, because equitable distribution of work is given and the responsibility as given to each and every worker. So over here what you have to do, you have to think from this manner as well. Okay, then the next point that we are going to discuss is a techniques one. Okay, limitations. Okay, limitations is the other factor. Scientific management did not take psychological aspects of workers. Workers were treated as economic tool. They had to perform some tasks over and over again, leading for the boredom and monotony. Okay, administrative theory. Around the time when F.W. Taylor was developing principle of scientific management, Fayol, known as the father of modern management, for developing administrative theory based on their own experience as CEO. Henry Fayol administrative theory provides a general framework of management that emphasizes on the process and the principle of management. Okay, now over here they are given 6 things, okay, that we are going to discuss. They have told about the technical means the manufacturing thing, commercial, buying and selling, security, protection of property. Then the 4th one is called accounting. Okay, that is called as maintaining financial records. 5th one is managerial. 6th one is financial, raising and optimum utilization of funds. Okay, Fields argued the management activity involved framing 5 functions. Okay, they have also given force on the 5 functions. First one is called planning, organizing, commanding, controlling, coordinating, and controlling. Okay, these five things they have included. Now, Henry Fayol, they have given a 14 principles of management. Okay, all these 14 principles are very much important. Okay, we are going to discuss this 14 principles one by one. First one is called as division of work. Okay, every person should have to perform a single leading function repeatedly so that advantage of specialization can be achieved. Okay, over here they have given force on the division of work. Okay, each and every member, those who are working in the organization, they are having their own work, they are having their own role. So always remember that division of work is being performed by each and every person. Okay, okay, work should be divided into small tasks. Each employee should be trained in the job that has to perform. Okay, this process is called as division of labor. Okay, this is based on the principle of specialization. So university held in economics essential for the efficient utilization of labor. Fields goes beyond the factory labor to apply the principle to all kind of work, managerial as well as technical. Okay, division of work helps in specialization and result in increased output by making employees more efficient. Okay, for example, if one person is skilled in computer programming and that person continues to do that over a period of time, that continuing of computerized work specialize him in that job and consequently improve the performance. Okay, that is called as division of work. Then the second point is called authority and responsibility. Always remember that authority means a right to take decision and responsibility means obligation with respect to the task that one has to perform and for which he is paid. Okay, Fayol conceals authority as the combination of official authority derived from managers, official position and personal authority. Okay, intelligence, experience, moral worth, past services, etc. He finds authority and responsibility to be related. The and party should be maintained between authority and responsibility. For example, if the employee is to be asked to perform the job of cash clerk, then he should be allowed to take care of all the issues relating to performing the job of the cash clerk, including accepting money in cash or draft or DD. Okay, time of getting the money, passing of entries, etc. are the example of authority and responsibility. Okay, discipline. According to Fayol's, discipline means disrespect of agreement, which are directed at achieving obligations, application, energy, and the outward marks for respect. He insists that a discipline requires good superior at all levels, clear and fair agreement, and judicious application of penalties. For example, if the company has entered into the agreement with employees about their wages for 5 years, then the company should honor it. Okay. Similarly, he insists that employees should also honor the commitment made by them. Okay, so discipline plays an important role, which include respect for agreement, which is directly at achieving obligations, application, energy, and the outward marks for the respect. Okay, always remember that employees should follow rules and regulation of the organization and should respect agreements that are desired to secure obligations. Okay, there should be a effective leadership, clear understanding of rules, and judicious use of penalties so that discipline prevails throughout the organization. Then the next point is called as unity of command. No company should have more than one boss. In order to avoid conflicting orders, every employee should receive orders from one boss only. Okay, unity of direction. There should be one head and one plan for those activities that aims and some objectives. Okay, some sense of purpose should be prevailed in the organization. It helps in unifying and coordinating action and goes towards the common objectives. Okay, then subordination of individual interest to the general interest. Whenever there is a conflict between personal interest and organizational interest, the organizational interest should be given first priority. The management should ensure that individuals are ready to sacrifice their personal interest for organizational goals. He can do this by setting his own example. Subordination of individual interest to general interest. Okay, then remuneration of person. Employees should have compensate for their work, justly and fairly. Moreover, the employees and the employers should be satisfied about the amount of remuneration and the method of remuneration. Okay, over here, remuneration and the methods of payment should be fair to provide the maximum satisfaction of the employees and employers. Injustice to any of these demotivate injustice in any may demotivate employees to perform the best of their capacities. For example, profit earned by the firm should not be entirely go to the shareholders or managers as commission, but it should be fairly distributed among all the concerned, including workers of the reasonable basis, on the reasonable basis, so that employees can also give a more contribution towards the work, and they will also be happy that they are also getting some kind of remuneration while earning the profit for the organization. Then next point is called as centralization. Okay, centralization means when authority is concentrated and subordinate have less role in decision making is called a centralization. Over here, centralization of authority. Okay, means what? The principle definitely refers to the extent to which authority is concentrated or displayed in an enterprise. Individual circumstances will determine the degree of centralization that will give the best over all units. Take an example of Vodafone that shows how it benefit with decentralization of authority. Okay. Then next point, that is called as scalar change. Scalar change, it is a chain of line of authority ranging from highest rank to the lowest rank. Okay. Over here, what we are going to see, A want to communicate with G, then the communication should follow from A via B, from C to D, and then from D to E, and F to G. This is the parameter, okay, with the help of which the communication are being spreading up. Now in these cases, according to the Fayol, scalar change has a line of authority. Okay, the chain of superiors from the highest to the lowest rank. He holds that it will be wrong for the subordinate to make department from line of authority, okay, needlessly, but he permits short circulating of the chain when its regard following is likely to be detrimental. Okay, see, now as in the hierarchy they have shown A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, that means from A, B, C, D, E, F, G. From this way, the circulation should be transferred, not from A to G directly. Okay. Now see, if this circulation is going from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you will going to have communication from A to G. So you will going to take a huge amount of time for the circulation of information, right? Because A want to communicate with B, B want to communicate with C, C to D, D to E, E to F, F to G. So the communication will surpass from A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It will take huge amount of time. So in case of emergency, A can directly communicate with G by the use of gangplank. Okay, but they should also inform their immediate boss that about this action taken by them. Okay, always remember that when they are circulating any kind of information from directly, at that time, it's a responsibility of that person to circulate the information to other people, that we are circulating the information directly to A to G. I mean to say from one person to another person, right? Because the circulation structure is goes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, but if they are transferring from A to G, then it will be a difficult one. Okay, then next one is order. It relates to the arrangement of things and people in the organization. The principal emphasis that there should be material as well as social order. It means that there should be a place for everything, and everything should be in proper place, a place for everyone, and everyone should be in his or her appointed place. Okay, so that is called as order. Okay, it relates with the arrangement of things from people in the organization. The principal emphasis on there should be a material as well as social order. Okay, order according to him is nothing but a place of for everything. I mean to say for everything means for everyone and in its place. Okay, and everyone in its place. Okay, thus it is essential for the principle of organization in the arrangement of things and person. A right man at the right thing or right job in the right material at the right place is called as a effective which ensure that effective utilization of resources and manpower employed in undertaking. Okay, right place for everything for everyone should be therefore guiding principle of every management. Okay, over here you have to give focus on the right thing for the right person and for the right place. Okay, equality. Manager should be kind, fair, and impartial in dealing with subordinates. Okay, equity. Okay, stability of tenure. Fuel shows that instability of tenure of person in both can cause an can cause an effect of bad management and points of dangers and cause unnecessary turnover. Okay, over here frequent changes of personnel may be good for the organization point of view as well. Okay, so over here equity should, I mean to say equality should be given for each and every person. Okay, I mean to say you have to treat each and every person with fair and impulsion manner. Then the next point is called a stability of tenure. Employee should be given some job security. Okay, it takes time by the worker to understand his new job and become skillful in it. Okay, over here what we have to give, what we have to see, we have to see that the focus should be given on the priority basis. Okay, over here each and every member, those who are there in the organization, they should have their skill to perform. Okay, each and every member, they should have a proper skill to perform. They should perform their work, whatever the work is given by the organization. They should have to give an effective answer for each and everything. Then the next point that is called as that we are discussing. Okay, fuel shows that instability of tenure of person is both the cause and effect of bad management and points out the danger cost of unnecessary turnover. Frequent change in personnel may not be good for the organization. Okay, any such change should be made only when it seems unavoidable, as for example in case of illness, retrenchment, or death of an employee. Okay, now the next point that we are going to discuss is called as initiative. Okay, fuel conveys initiative as a thinking out and execution of a plan. It is one of the kindest satisfaction of the intelligence man to experience in order to permit subordinate to exercise it. Okay, initiative should be confused with going against the establishment practice. Okay, or doing something against respect for authority and discipline. Okay, for example, every employee has a right to give suggestion about any matters for the organization, but once the decision is taken on any issue, then there should be no scope of disobedience. Okay, so always remember that if anyone, see, there is a freedom of performance, right? In the organization, see if any new task is being given. Okay, so it's a responsibility of an employee to take that opportunity. Okay, if employees are taking that opportunity, definitely we can say that they are doing a very good job, and which is helpful for the encouragement of new thinking, of new ideas as well. Okay, because each and every person on the organization, right, if they are thinking of taking some new tasks, some new activities, definitely that is also going to be a beneficial for the growth and development of that person. Okay. Okay, so initiative plays an important role over here. Then spirit de crops. Okay, what do you mean by spirit de crops? Spirit de crops means what? It's a kind of teamwork. Okay, team contributes more than individual. Okay, the spirit de crops means a kind of work which is being done in a team, right? Unity of strength and unity in its employees is the fundamental of team spirit. Okay, managers should avoid the philosophy of divide the rule. Okay, unity among the workers can be developed through informal communication also. Unity of strength, unity of employees is the foundation of team spirit. Okay, so always remember that spirit de crops plays an important role over here as well. Okay, then the next point that we are going to discuss about the bureaucracy. Okay, bureaucracy. Max Weber, the professor of political and economy in German, they have introduced this concept with a highly formulated structure. Okay, now he argued that organization can reduce variability through formation of behavior by introducing bureaucratic organization. Okay, this will make the activities in the organization predictable and easy to control. The main feature of bureaucracy, they have given some kind of features that we are going to see now. Okay, rationalization, legal authority. The managers do not exercise authority according to their wills and fancies. Okay, instead authority is exercised through a system of rules